अरे दुनिया में ऐसा है, आजकल तो प्यार ही नहीं मिलता है, ये नहीं होता है, वो नहीं होता है, 2 सेकंड लगेंगे वापस गाली देने में.
हाँ.
बट वो 2 सेकंड.
If the body had a voice, what do you think most people are not?
Unfortunately इसका जवाब एक नहीं है. I love what I can say today I could not say 20 years back. Is the rising of Shakti in my body. The waves of Shakti in my body.
Yes, that's what I wanted to talk
Yes.
about. The way.
I don't think affirmation can suddenly make you look like Angelina Jolie. That's not going to happen.
Obviously.
Right? But keywords are birth, pleasure, emotional fluidity.
It's the society's preconceived notions
But
they have.
But we are society. You know, you have dharma, arth, काम and moksha. वो लेट के रोते हैं ना वो. In my youth, I have been very, very reckless.
You have a very, very cute toddler out there.
मैं बच्ची नहीं हूँ. मैंने बोला आप क्या हो? मैं लड़की हूँ. The positions, the different kinds of aspects around biting, touching, kissing. है ना?
Express तो करना पड़ेगा, feel तो करना पड़ेगा. I feel. Waking up and choosing kindness.
तो Kama Sutra is not related to only positions. It's related to.
Hey, I love this.
अब बचाओ.
Help!
बचाओ.
Women are magic. On this episode of the 11 Heaven Show, we're joined by Meher Malik, one of India's most well-known belly dancers, who has evolved her work into teaching embodiment through movement, breath, and body awareness. Through her workshops and teachings, she has helped thousands of people feel more connected, present, and at home in their own bodies. Our conversation went beyond movement and into the relationship between the body and mind. We spoke about how the way we move can reflect the way we think, and how rigidity in our opinions, emotions, and patterns can often show up physically. Enjoy the conversation. So, I'll begin with the first question. You know, when you are away from performing, when you are away from the identity that you're supposed to show in a certain environment, but then when you go back home, you dissociate from the personality and you are one with yourself. So, how can movement help in the intrapersonal relationship of our body image, and how do we view ourselves? Because a lot of women in my age, which is mid-20s, okay, they start with the body dysphoria, they start with judging themselves, the negative self-talk starts, and obviously words do manifest, so we have to talk good about our body if we want to happen good in our body. I want to know the answer, how can we relate movement in such a way that it's also helping us be aware of our own body and the inner aspects of our body, which are chakras. Since belly dancing constitutes the lower part of your body, which constitutes the Mooladhara chakra as well, and it's the foundational and base chakra. And Mooladhara chakra is usually suppressed by lots of words and negative self-talk. It gets blocked when we are talking very negative about ourselves, because so body is listening to you constantly when you're speaking, right? So Mooladhara chakra does listen to it. How can belly dancing and movement be a very important aspect with this? And I think that every woman can belly dance if they try to, honestly.
So, I also, after many years of spending time on researching subtle energy systems, I will definitely say that an energy center can't get blocked just by negative self-talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe in the language of blocked, I believe in the language of imbalanced. Either underactive or overactive. Because if one of your energy centers is completely blocked, energy can't move into your system at all. But what's happening mostly with us is that energy is imbalanced, which means either there's a energy, a subtle energy system or part of the system that is overactive, or it's underactive. So when we speak about the root, what we're actually talking about is the fear of survival.
Yeah.
And because the root is related to the fear of survival. So when we speak of, say, dances like, belly dancing, for example, they're not related to the root as such. They're related more to the sacral, which is the second.
Oh, okay.
So the belly dancing as a dance form is related to the womb. And the sacral chakra or the second chakra, the Swadhisthana, which is the seat of the self, is what belly dancing is related to. Because belly dance is about birth. It is about the keywords are birth, pleasure, emotional fluidity. So all of those are the keywords related to the second center, not the first center.
Okay, wow.
The first center is related to your basic needs. It's related to the needs of food, shelter, clothing, and your basic foundation when you were a child, your relationship to your parents, and whether your survival needs were met or not. Usually we get imbalanced, or that imbalance occurs when those basic needs haven't been provided, haven't been met. Whereas the second center is more interested in your emotions, your pleasure, your creativity, your life force, creative life force. So belly dancing as a style or as a form is about getting in touch with that. It's about getting in touch with how do I feel. It's about getting in touch with your sensuality. It's about getting in touch with your femininity, your emotions. That being said, when you ask this other question of how do people bring more of this movement, especially women, into their life, and how does that become more relevant, right, for their day-to-day life? From the way I see it, I think that like I said, that society has kind of created this very intense conditioning around how a woman must behave or must not behave. And I think that if a woman really wants to connect with herself, this may sound a little bit outrageous, but if a woman wants to really connect with herself, the first thing that she needs to start doing is to stop caring about what people have to say about her.
That's so true.
And I know that this is outrageous, but क्या होता है कि because this is a patriarchal society, women are constantly looking for approval from men, fathers, husbands, partners, boyfriends. The first thing that a woman wants to do is to kind of negate that.
Yes.
Throw it out of the window. Because men cannot decide for women what they need to do with their bodies, because they don't live in the body of a woman.
Yeah.
And because men don't live in a woman's body, they don't know the experiences of a woman's body. They don't know what it is like to have menstruation. They don't know what it is like to be pregnant, to bear a baby, to give birth to the child.
Yeah.
And
then get back to your own routines, get back to your own muscles.
Right. So they are only witness to this. And it's so funny that हमने इतनी power उनको दे दी है जो सिर्फ इस process के witness हैं. So I think that one of the first things that a woman has to do if she wants to connect with herself is that she needs to take away this idea that a man needs to validate her existence.
Yeah.
Men are beautiful. This is not a rejection of men in any kind. I love men. I think men are essential to our existence and to the world. They're beautiful. They have their strengths and they have their gifts and they have, their skills and their potential. But
not the validation.
But we don't need to be validated by them. For the world to kind of meet this sense of balance and, equality, we will have to take away this idea that the patriarchal structure or the men in my life are going to be the ones who are going to, give me the permission to connect to my body. And अक्सर औरतें अपने आप से connect इसीलिए नहीं कर पाती हैं क्योंकि किसी तरीके से कोई उनको ना कर देता है या मना कर देता है.
The biggest thing that happens around India is the myth related to a woman's orgasm.
Right.
And people here lack sex education.
Unfortunately.
Even the educated era of men, they lack sex education, and a lot of women out there have to teach. How do you touch me? You have to be gentle. First of all, we have to teach men how to be gentle, the most basic thing. Also, the biggest myth that is related, a woman is able to bear a baby. So there's a life prana force, all the thing happening in her womb. She's magic. And back in Roman cultures, when they got to know about the powers of the women, the witches, they burnt them alive because patriarchy has been scared from the sacredness of a woman, that how a woman holds. So I want to talk more about it. Please let me know more about it.
See, जो जननी है, she will obviously be in touch with something that the person or the gender that doesn't have the womb to give birth, she will obviously understand that more than the opposite gender.
Yeah.
Because
empathy.
she's in touch with something that the opposite gender does not have or no. Which is okay. So let's acknowledge that, and let's be okay with that, because this is how we're created by biology and by nature. So this is okay. And another aspect of this is that gentlemen aren't born. Boys aren't born gentlemen, they're made gentlemen. And from the way I see it, that is the responsibility of a father. But when a father but the father also didn't have a role model, because dads were too busy making money, and unfortunately that's the kind of system that we live in.
True.
They could not be as present, they could not be as available, which is the case for a lot of young men. They didn't get the conversation about the birds and the bees with, the father was never able to talk to them. Okay, beta, this is how you treat a woman.
Yeah, because
and I feel like that initiation, that rite of passage is so important and needs to be transferred from one man to another man. But it is lacking, and it is lacking not just because it's not that men are the problem. It's lacking because we are all living in a structure that doesn't value these kind of initiations.
Coming to that, India is the land of Kama Sutra. But we as Indians, we lack so much of the awareness related to it. We lack so much of the awareness. And not just awareness, we demean it. We hide it as a society when it was sacred at a certain point in India only. It was sacred, it considered sacred. Kama Sutra was written by a man, the rich society of men, but like what's all happening suddenly? Everybody is looking demeaning and it's regressive, and कोई भी चीज़ को दबाया जाता है तो वो एकदम से तो it flush off. And for our generation, I would want it to flush off, because I want people to notice the essence it brings, and the security, the mental security it brings. See, love as an emotion is a very high vibrating emotion through frequency. After gratitude, it's love, which is radiating vibe. And when you're making love, it's not just sex, you're basically making love. Two people involved in the same emotion at the same time, they would create magic. How would you reply to a question like this?
We have something called the 4 Purusharthas, right? The 4 aims of life. You have dharma, artha, kam, and moksha, right? So they are put in a certain order, right? With dharma being the most important, artha being after that, kama coming later. Because until and unless we don't understand actually dharma and our spiritual duties or our purpose or our duty, basically, engaging even in sex, for example, will be haphazard.
Oh, okay.
In the sense that you can see the chaos that sex creates in the world. You can see it. Everything from pornography to OnlyFans to child abuse to rape, the kind of chaos that sex creates. So in the larger context of what is being spoken, from a spiritual aspect in our country, it is not primarily about sex. It is speaking to the human psyche much, much deeper. And भगवान को आकार देना, ये भी तो human psyche का ही projection है ना. Like you have experienced Shiv Tattva, you have experienced Devi, and you have given it a shape and form, right? Or it has been revealed to you in certain sense, but it has been revealed to the human, right? So we don't want to go with a reductive kind of mindset, that it is this and it is that, and that will be very misinformed, But when we speak about sexuality, in itself, India as a land, whether it's however it has happened, whether Vatsyayan wrote down the Kama Sutra, or you have multiple tantric texts, or you have, the discussion about sexuality in various different forms and texts, it has always been guided through the lens of something sacred, something in alignment with spirituality.
Okay.
It's not like, okay, you just do this and, you try out anything and do anything. Even in the Kama Sutra, one of the things that Vatsyayan, repeatedly and continuously says is that whatever is mentioned in this text, please make sure you look at the date, the time, the context.
Okay.
Everything does not apply to everybody.
Yes.
But the human psyche is such that desire is a big part of being human.
Yes.
It is the same desire that wants to send man to the Mars. It is the same
Yes.
desire that wants to have various kinds of sexual experiences.
Yes.
It is desire. Our texts, so many of our texts, support us in understanding the nature of desire.
Exactly.
And that is something that we cannot. ये बस बोलना कि क्योंकि इंडिया में क्योंकि इंडिया में सेक्सुअलिटी इतनी ओपन रही है, इसका मतलब है हम उसको समझते हैं, ये बहुत ही
नहीं, that's not even true. That's not even true.
So if we want to understand about the sacredness and the spiritual lens through which India as a culture has seen sexuality, we have to read, we have to study, we have to give ourselves the platform to understand sexuality through the lens of innocence, through the lens of study, through the lens of wisdom.
So, कल I watched a movie called The Core. ठीक है, बहुत different concept है that I realized. I was just sitting and I was just thinking because there was this podcast today morning and yesterday I was watching that movie. So it's basically कि जो अर्थ के आसपास की इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक फील्ड होती है, it gets a bit, मतलब वो चल नहीं रही होती. So all of these people, they go to a mission, they go into the core and mantle and वो सारी टेक्टोनिक प्लेट्स और इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक फील्ड को सब ठीक करके आते हैं. What I thought, क्या कुंडलिनी और द ऑरा और रेडार, इज दैट अ ह्यूमन्स इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक फील्ड? जैसे लेयर्स होती हैं, अर्थ की भी कितनी सारी लेयर्स के थ्रू दे वेंट थ्रू, राइट? हमारी बॉडी में इतनी कितनी लेयर्स हैं दैट आर एनर्जी पियर्सेस थ्रू. जब हम मेडिटेट भी करते हैं एंड वी आर सपोज टू इमेजिन समथिंग अबव आवर क्राउन चक्रा, वी immerse it, we think about immersing that light inside our body through that crown chakra. तो वो भी layers के थ्रू जाती होगी. So I want to know that how is it same? क्योंकि uncanny तरीके से nature is always aligning with humans. हमारे stretch marks, all the veins and everything, it's all associated to nature and Mother Earth. So what are your views upon that? What do you think?
So we are not separate from nature. This is obvious, right? We are a part of nature. I think that the delusion that we are separate from nature is ये भ्रम है सबसे बड़ा.
ये बहुत बड़ा भ्रम है.
तो हम नहीं हैं. We are part of nature. At the same time, we are a very uniquely evolving species. And जब हम अगर अपनी एनर्जी फील्ड की बात करें, तो योगा में भी एक्सप्लेन किया जाता है कि आपकी एक सटल बॉडी है, एक फिजिकल बॉडी है, आपकी मेंटल बॉडी है, आपकी इमोशनल बॉडी है. सो yoga doesn't say we have just this body. It says we have different types of bodies.
Which are layers.
Which are layers, correct.
Okay.
So we do have this grosser body, we do have subtler bodies. All of this is true. At the same time, I wouldn't go on to say that this is equal to Kundalini. Because when we speak of Kundalini is said to be potential energy sitting at the base of at the base of the spine that can take years and years of practice and moments of awakening. It's not like एक दिन कोई उठता है उसकी कुंडलिनी awaken हो गई है. This is ridiculous. Unless they have done some great sadhana from many lifetimes.
Have you met anybody who must have had awakened kundalini? How do they?
No.
How do they sound like or whatever?
No. I can't say this. I definitely know that there are people who have worked a lot with their energy. What does an awakened kundalini look like? I have no fucking idea. I have no idea. I shouldn't even pretend that I do. But I do know one thing, because
What is exactly kundalini?
Well, if I don't know what it looks like, and because I myself, and I'll tell you, a lot of people trying to tell you that they know what the kundalini is just woo-woo.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just woo-woo. People don't know. They think that by moving things like this and shaking things like this, oh, kundalini, nonsense. And I know that there will be two kinds of people listening to this right now who will say, oh, just because you don't know it, that doesn't mean that is not right.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't know the experience. I have been in spaces where my body has energetically done crazy things, from convulsions to bringing back old memories that was stuck in in my subconscious. But can I say this is an awakening? No. No.
But it's a different experience that might have happened to you, which changed your perspective
No.
towards life. Even though, no.
I believe that I have had multiple energetic experiences. If it was an awakening, I would know. It would pierce through my judgment. It would pierce through my limitations.
Mm-hmm.
It would pierce through my things that block me.
Yeah.
So, as a human being who's on the spiritual path, I am still aware of what blocks me. I am still aware of my limitations. So, if it's an awakening, I wouldn't be sitting here doing this podcast. I highly doubt it.
True.
You wouldn't find me here. I wouldn't be accessible like this.
Yeah.
I don't think so. So, what I have experienced though is the rising of Shakti in my body. The waves of Shakti in my body.
Yes, that's what I wanted to talk
Yes.
about. The waves. Yes.
So I have experienced, even in just a meditative experience, just sitting down and feeling like my body is 100 times bigger than it is now. So there have been moments where I have felt like I am vaster and I can hold so much inside myself because my body is expanded by many times. I have experienced orgasms that have lasted,
Hours?
yeah,
Is it?
yes.
Hours?
Yes, not what I hear a lot of people say, which is just a few moments. I have experienced an orgasm through movement and no sexual experience.
Wow.
Just with my body. Just me and my body.
Wow.
So I have felt Shakti playing in my body many times in my life.
Women are magic. Out there, people out there, do you understand that? Women are magic.
Men can experience this too. What a lot of people don't know is that every man is capable of having an orgasm without an ejaculation.
What?
It's just that people don't know this.
I think not even 1% of the population might be aware of it.
Yes, it's true
Not
that,
even 1%.
that most people don't know, but there are techniques, Taoist techniques, tantric techniques, semen retention techniques that train men in how to have an orgasm without an ejaculation. I have experienced, my partner has also experienced, both of us have experienced the presence of Shakti deeply in our lives, and her moving through us. But will I call this an awakening or a Kundalini awakening? I'm not going to be ignorant enough to say that. I don't want to. Maybe there'll be the day I feel like the day it happens, I will stop talking. I will probably go silent. I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like there's a part of me that deeply knows that if this ever happens, I will just not be the same person. Something will drastically transform.
When did your strive for spirituality, where you wanted to experience all this, started? When was that one time when you realized that this is the thing, Meher, you were born for this? When did you realize your purpose towards bringing that bridging gap between sensuality and sexuality? How did all that happen?
I'm actually more interested in the gap between sexuality and spirituality.
Okay.
Sensuality is just
a part of it.
It's a creative expression of sexuality. It's
Yes.
a more playful, more creative, more emotional expression, because see, sexuality just demands body parts, procreation. कोई भी दो लोग आके कर सकते हैं ये. Sensuality is creative. That's about pleasure, play, emotions, many more things. But what I'm really interested in is that looking at this from the lens of non-duality, because I'm also a student of Buddhist philosophy, I don't make a distinction between sexuality and spirituality. For me, there is no distinction.
Can you tell us some instances from Buddhist philosophy as well related to that?
I mean, I don't want to talk about the philosophy in the context, but in the context that the non-dual path believes that everything is emanating from the same source. And everything that we experience is a projection of, the source. It's the source reflected out in a different way.
Like a mirror.
In a sense,
a mirror.
right? In a sense. So for me, I don't make that distinction. When people say, oh, sex is dirty, I'm like यार अगर वो होता ही नहीं तो हम पैदा ही नहीं होते
नहीं
ये
होते,
बोलने
हाँ.
के लिए कि वो डर्टी है.
True that.
है ना, वो पैदा ही नहीं होते, आप पैदा यहाँ खड़े ही नहीं होते आप कि आप कह पाओ कि ये गंदा है.
Exactly.
तो जो नॉन ड्यूअल पाथ है ना, वो ना ही सेक्स से ऑब्सेस्ड है, ना ही वो किसी स्पिरिचुअल शेप एंड फॉर्म या रिलीजियस शेप एंड फॉर्म से ऑब्सेस्ड है.
It's just the
It
bliss.
it is not bliss, it is the path of seeing the nature of things. It is
Okay.
the path of arriving at that place of whether it's this judgment or that judgment, it's emanating from the same place. Whether it's a man or a woman, it's emanating from the same place. It's the path of realizing that even you and I are not separate from each other. That we are coming from the same source.
Yes, we are coming from the same source.
So, for me,
Got it.
sexuality can never be dirty.
True.
My father gifted me the Kama Sutra when I was 14 years old.
Wow.
So I have been studying about sexuality since I was 14.
Wow.
And every time I read about it more and more, I realized how beautiful it is and how misunderstood it is.
But it's written by a man. Did it change that in any way, in your perception, but like your individual perception towards it? I mean, no offense to Kama Sutra as the book, no offense to that, but like, did it come to you that yes, it's written by a man?
There are a lot of sexual dialogues that have been done by female yoginis also, like Lopa Mudra, for example.
Okay.
So I have not just read the Kama Sutra, that's one of the texts that I'm interested in. It's a text I enjoy. It's a text that I have had a lot of, mental stimulation reading. And it has supported me also to develop a lot of tools and techniques for intimacy. It has helped me understand what can be brought into the modern context when we talk about relating and intimacy. But it's not the only text that I'm interested in. It's one of the texts I'm interested in. And yes, it is written by a man. And yes, there are certain Kama Sutra editions that also say that even the fact that the woman is having an orgasm or not was kind of like a debatable thing. Like they weren't very sure. Like it was happening but not sure. It wasn't talked about. But even modern science has just discovered the whole map of the clitoris. Like just. This is like brand new information.
That's so sad.
Yeah. And
that's so sad that
yeah.
we live in the society like
Women's
that.
sexuality, generically speaking, has kind of been not like the central theme of text. But there have been yoginis. There is a lot of, mention of sexual energy or Kundalini itself being that potential energy which plays as sexuality at the bottom. So, Tantra in itself already believes that sexual energy hai hi feminine.
Acha.
Yes.
Okay.
कि sexual energy है ही feminine energy. और वही कुंडलिनी शक्ति है जो ये सारी एनर्जीज में रूप बदलती रहती है.
यही मैं पूछना चाह रही थी कि is that the Kundalini energy जो
right, but if you say it like this, no, it's very reductive. It's very simplified.
It's very
And most
simplified.
people will just be like,
कि क्या यही होता
तो
है?
मतलब I'm having sex, तो I'm activating my
Kundalini
Kundalini Shakti.
नहीं.
This is why I refrain from using.
I get it now I get
Because
it.
most people can't understand it. You have to have had enough theoretical experience as well as practical experience
experiences.
to understand what is this energy that we're talking about.
Plus you need to be well read about it.
Yes.
You need to
Theory
be
and
actually-
practice both together.
Yeah.
Both together. So and the main thing is that I do believe that the Kama Sutra is written by a man, but it's a valuable text regardless.
Yeah,
There are some amazing
true.
things that he's mentioning. Yes, the woman is not prioritized in the sense, but he's always including the
that's
woman.
also true. That's
Like he's
also
always
true.
including the woman, that when you treat her nicely or when you give her respect, do this for her. So, the woman is included. It's
Yeah,
not
the
like
woman
she's
is included.
rejected. It's just that through the man's physiology, he's not really
I
able
haven't
to
read
understand.
the text, so that's why I wanted a perception. Because अगर मैं पढ़ती और फिर मेरे लिए वो बमर होता कि अगर ऐसा
The
कुछ है
woman's
तो
joy and her pleasure is included.
is included. हाँ.
But yes, it is through the lens of a man, and it is through the lens of his desire, his want, and the woman is the object that fulfills that.
Yeah.
It is true.
Yeah. ये
But-
तो होगा ही ना.
But ये तो आदमी है ना.
हाँ, ये तो आदमी
अपने शरीर के जरिए ही तो समझेगा.
है. ये भी है. और उन्होंने वो भी समझा, वो भी बहुत बिग डील है.
चलो बहुत बड़ी बात है, क्योंकि उस समय पे और भी टेक्स्ट थे. आप अगर धर्मशास्त्र की बात करो, अगर आप मनुस्मृति की बात करो, इन कुछ टेक्स्ट में तो औरत का pleasure is a big no-no. मतलब in certain texts it's like she should not be having pleasure.
What?
So the Kama Sutra is a very advanced text in comparison to those. It is ahead of its time.
Oh, wow.
So let's honor that and let's say that it's a very valuable text. And I feel like in today's age and time, there are women who are now talking about women's sexuality, women's pleasure, and I feel like that's already happening. That's already happening. And if you go down in time, you will find certain female sages and women yoginis who have talked about these things also.
Coming to that, is yoga somewhat related to these experiences? Yoga came in the positions, even in the asanas and the sex positions in Kama Sutra. They are somewhat, research papers ke through associate kari gayi hain. In a lot of research papers that I've read, they have talked about the relevance, how yoga and tantra asanas are related to Kama Sutra sex positions. Do they have same impact?
So the Kama Sutra is also very deeply related to the Natya Shastra, which is the treatise on performing arts, dance, music.
Mm-hmm.
And in that regard, when we look at the yogic path per se, it's not the path of indulgence. It's the path of abstinence.
Yes,
the
exactly.
yogic path is the path of abstinence. But at the same time, when we speak of the subtlety of the body, when we speak of, the body being supple, the body, going into these different kinds of positions, I think it's a very big part of, the culture at large, because there wasn't this kind of bodily shame.
Yes.
This kind of bodily shame wasn't there. So you'll see these images in the Khajuraho temples, you'll see them in different places, you'll see different temples, you'll see them in books, you'll see them in the Kama Sutra. So I think that when Vatsyayan was probably writing it, I'm sure he was affected by the milieu at that time. Mm-hmm. Whatever the cultural context was at that time. And although Kama Sutra is not prioritizing positions.
Oh, okay.
There are 64 main positions, but in many different editions there are all different 100 other, variations. But the Kama Sutra is not prioritizing position. Mm-hmm. That's only one part
of it. Okay.
One part of it. Okay. There are a lot of other things. Behavior.
The essence. It's basically the essence. They have explained the essence.
That, but it also is a book that talks about behaviors. कि कैसे behave करना है अगर वो लड़की जिस आपसे शादी कर रहे हो या वो married है किसी से, अगर वो courtesan है, तो it talks about behaviors. It talks about pleasure at large. It talks about the 64 kalas. It talks about the different arts. So Kama Sutra is not related to only positions. It's related to many things related to creativity, pleasure, intimacy, etc.
बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग फैक्ट मैंने जब पढ़ा था कामा सूत्रा के बारे में कि उसमें they used to tell us the communication happening through exchanges of pan.
Yeah.
That was a very interesting thing that I thought कि ये कामा सूत्रा में कि ये mystical essence उन्होंने explain करे हुए हैं about certain symbols and everything.
So say for example a love bite, you're biting into a patta and you're leaving an imprint on the patta and that's reached that person. So then they know looking at that what type of a bite it would be. So there's a lot of different stories like this. For me, honestly, I'll be very honest. It's not the storytelling in the Kama Sutra that excites me more. It's storytelling. क्या करोगे आप सडनली पान के पत्ते पे निशान डाल के भेजोगे क्या अपने लवर को? तो मैं सच बोलूं तो मेरे को कामा सूत्र की स्टोरी टेलिंग में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है. Although I've read many editions, I'm interested more in the path of conscious sexuality. Kama Sutra supports that for me. It's one of the books that learning it, the positions, the different kinds of aspects around biting, touching, kissing, all of that supports my work in the space of conscious intimacy, conscious sexuality. So the Kama Sutra is one such book. I refer to many other such books and written by different people in different cultures. So I'm not going to start putting love bites on a pan ka patta and send it to my partner. You may want to. You might as well want to play.
Because man be fiction oriented. People are fiction oriented.
Right, why not? But I am more interested in the wisdom from the standpoint of somatics.
Yes.
And somatics is body work. So
Yeah.
when I work with couples or when I work with individuals, I'm supporting them to understand how energy moves in their body. I'm exploring positions with them. I'm exploring the breath in sexual union with them. So it's a lot of different aspects and a lot of different studies that have come together to be able to support people in understanding their sexual energy and to express it better.
Wow, lovely. So there's this question: if the body had a voice, what do you think most people are not ready to hear from the body?
बचाओ
Help!
बचाओ
क्या आपको लगता है कि सबकी बॉडी से हेल्प तो मांगती होंगी? I
Oh my
feel.
god, the body is screaming for help. And help in every form. Help in feed me better, love me better,
Yeah,
treat me better,
better.
speak to me better.
Speak to me better. I feel speak to me better is such an important point. I really want to talk about it, that words are words of affirmations, right? And अगर मैं 2 दिन भी सुबह उठ के if I'm doing the mirror work and I'm telling myself that you look pretty, the 3rd day I look pretty, but when I'm telling if I look ugly, the 3rd day I look ugly. How does this go about when we are actually what's happening? What's the kind of rewiring that's happening when we are affirming such good things to our body, even if the body is sick? Can words of affirmation do magic to your body?
Well, I don't think affirmation can suddenly make you look like Angelina Jolie. That's not going to happen.
Obviously.
Right? But I feel like you need to understand and kind of reflect on what is it that you want to affirm in your life. So thing is that, for example, some people don't really care if they look pretty or not. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Huh.
like, I mean, this doesn't matter to them. It's not so important.
It's
You
not
know, as
so
long as I'm
important.
healthy, feeling good, it's okay. But what is it? Your self-talk, your inner voice, your self-talk isn't about affirmation per se only. That okay, you're beautiful, you're strong, you're courageous. Your inner self-talk is about what is the kind of life you want to make for yourself. So how you speak to yourself reflects how you show up in the world. And because I work so deeply with affirmation in motion, which is affirmation through body work,
Wow.
it's one of my main subjects. So many people come to me complaining कि यार मैं तो कितनी affirmations करती हूँ, चल ही नहीं रहा है, चल ही नहीं रहा है, चल ही नहीं रहा है. बहुत लोग बोलते हैं क्योंकि it's dead.
Yeah, it's there.
It's dead.
Lot
It
of-
doesn't. It's void of any visceral experience. I am beautiful.
ऐसे थोड़ी होगा.
ऐसा नहीं होएगा ना.
एक्सप्रेस तो करना पड़ेगा, फील तो करना पड़ेगा. I feel.
Right. So I feel like, but जब आप अपने जीवन को affirmation की तरह जीते हो,
Hey, yeah, I love this.
आपको
I love
affirmation
this.
करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती.
I love this. This is the best point.
आप उठते भी हो खुश मिजाज होकर, आप you eat well, you live well, you care for your temple, you study something, you spend time with your loved ones, you work well. When you live your life like an affirmation, you don't need affirmations.
True.
So the living is the embodiment. Saying it is just blah blah blah. For a beginner, यहाँ तक पहुँचने के लिए शुरुआत में पहले शायद से करने की ज़रूरत है. But I can't talk that talk anymore because I don't see it like that anymore. The greatest affirmation you can give yourself is go to a yoga class every day.
Exactly.
Take out 1 hour a day. This is an affirmation. Because the minute you start seeing yourself as important enough to prioritize, you are already affirming that I am important enough to prioritize. So जिसकी लाइफ में गुड हैबिट से कोई चेंज नहीं आ रहा ना, एफर्मेशन से कोई चेंज नहीं आ रहा, इसका मतलब है कि काम कहीं और करना है, कुछ और चल रहा है. एक एब्सोल्यूट बिगिनर जिसने कभी भी लाइफ में कुछ नहीं करा है, एफर्मेशंस ग्रेट. But self-talk is more about, not just about affirmation. Self-talk is also about how you judge other people. इसमें तो
Yes.
affirmation नहीं है ना. जो मैं आपसे मिली, right? How do I see you? Do I suddenly go into a judgmental mode of, oh ये ऐसा है, ये अच्छा है, ये बुरा है? Or do I give myself a sense of openness?
Yes.
Do I keep myself open whilst interacting with you? That is actually what defines self-talk, not affirmation. How do you show up in the world? How are you? अब आप अंदर तो कर रहे हो यार, ये ऐसी, इसने ऐसे कपड़े पहने, उसने ऐसा करा है, पर ऊपर से रोज बोलते हो I am a good human being, I am compassionate.
That's middle-aged woman for you guys.
Such nahi hai ye. Yes. I love it. I love what I can say today I could not say 20 years back.
I love it.
Yeah, so point is that if you are, your mind judges and it's a negative loop here. And if you're not able to open that, कुछ कितने भी affirmations कर लो,
कुछ नहीं होने
कुछ नहीं
वाला.
होने वाला.
You have a very, very cute toddler out there, right? And she's very cute, and I love how you expose her to every little thing in the world, even if it's your workshops. I always keep a check on your stories because I love it. And the way she's always going around radiating her love, her charm. वो बहुत सारे गाने गाती है randomly and she's dancing. So I love watching that on stories. How did you come to a fact कि अगर if she'll ask you about your work someday, how are you going to explain that to her?
She already knows what I do. I was surprised. पहली बात तो टॉडलर ने रही 6 साल की, बोलती मैं बच्ची नहीं हूँ. मैंने बोला आप क्या हो? मैं लड़की हूँ. So
wow.
वो खुद ब खुद कहती है कि मैं लड़की हूँ. I'm like, okay,
I love it.
ठीक
I
है
love
बेटा.
it.
So one of the most amazing things happened. We were on a train journey and I just randomly asked her, बाबू आपको पता है मैं करती क्या हूँ? आपको आइडिया है कि मम्मा करती क्या है? I mean, she knows I'm a dancer. वो तो क्योंकि हम इतना डांस करते हैं वो जानती है. She's like, I thought she'll say dancer, but she didn't.
What did she say?
She said आप लोगों को breath work कराते हो.
I love
तो
that.
फिर मैंने बोला ये सुना कहाँ से और आपको?
The breath work term she knew.
She said breath work. I was like, how do you know?
Wow.
She said वो लेट के रोते हैं ना वो. So then I was like, तो ये अच्छा वाला रोना होता है कि बुरा वाला? कहती अच्छा वाला. मैंने बोला क्यों? कहती क्योंकि उनको कुछ फील हो रहा है और वो आपके सामने वो बता पाते हैं जैसे मैं रो के आपको बताती हूँ.
You know, this generation is very emotionally intelligent.
My God.
Very emotionally intelligent.
My daughter is like, when I have not met an adult that I can have the kind of conversation I can have with my child. Just that kind of conversation. I can't.
You cannot have a conversation with an adult. The
It
conversations
is
you have
because
with
adults
children.
are already formed by so many ideas
Yes,
and
they
concepts.
come from so many conceived notions. They come from so many notions, and they're living their life based on that. You don't know they talk about emotions, and adults do not talk
Yes,
about
it's
emotions.
true. Toddlers, I mean children. Let's just say children. Children are less bogged down by ideas, experiences, and concepts. And we are the ones who are responsible for shoving that down their throats.
Yes.
So one of the philosophies that a lot of gurus speak about, if there's an unschooling guru that I listen to, and then also Sadhguru says things that let them teach you. This is what I've applied since day one. तो जब कोई उसे कुछ बोलता है ना ये मत करो वो मत करो, I go to her and say देखो जो करने का मन है तो कर सकती है.
Ah, so cute.
So I just feel like this expectation कि कोई बुजुर्ग आएगा तो बच्चे को उसको हग करना ही है, चूमना ही है. क्यों नहीं है उसका मन, नहीं करना है. मेरे को अगर कोई बोलेगा कि सबको हग करना है, सबको किस करना है, नहीं करने का है मेरे को. So this is really important, and I feel like the one thing that we need to do for our children is to realize that their canvas is more open than ours is.
Yes.
And to allow for that canvas to transform what our canvas is looking like. हम पे तो कोई रंग डालने की जगह ही नहीं है.
But you know what? They don't care about your canvas. They care about their own canvases.
Yeah.
It's us who project our canvases on them.
Correct.
They don't care.
That's what I'm
For
saying,
them,
yeah.
crying is crying, tantrums is tantrums, happiness is happiness.
Right.
For them, emotions are very simple as they could be.
Right.
It's the adults who complicate emotions.
Yes.
Because you're adding 5 emotions at one time when it's time to just face and confront one emotion of
not
yours.
able to speak about it. And from the lens of like spiritual energetics also, Shakti is emotion.
Yes.
And because
energy in motion.
Yes, and because the feminine has been disregarded in any sense. अब feminine से related जो भी है उसकी हालात देख लो आप, प्रकृति environment की हालात देख लो आप, sexuality related to शक्ति हालात देख लो आप, sexuality को लेकर
रिवर्स प्रकृति में
right, emotion भावना
भावना
right, आप हाल देख लो, like we are not able to really even express what we want to express. Now ChatGPT is a better therapist than humans are. We are not able to actually converse with another person. So it's so much damage. Yes, society has done us damage, but so much damage we've done to ourselves.
Exactly.
So much.
So to culminate the podcast, I would want something, a nice message for the viewers out there, men and women both, who feel very low on energy and who does not know anything about energies in their own body and who are not very intimate with their own bodies, who do not understand how to have a relationship with your own body, an intrapersonal relationship with your own self. What message would you like to give to them? What is that one movement that you would want to emphasize upon to have a better life ahead? And how can we be very close to our energies inside our body? How can we decipher those energies inside our body for the people who have not yet done the work?
Unfortunately, इसका जवाब एक नहीं है.
बहुत सारे हैं.
There are two, three perspectives. One is कि जब हमारी एनर्जी इम्बैलेंस्ड होती है, सबसे पहले हमें ये नोटिस करना है कि हम अपने इमोशंस को कैसे ट्रीट करते हैं. यू नो, जब जॉय होता है क्या हम उसे एक्सप्रेस करते हैं, जब हम सैड होते हैं क्या वो शेयर करते हैं. बिकॉज इम्बैलेंस इन द फिजिकल बॉडी इज़ रिलेटेड, even Chinese medicine, various different systems will tell you that your energy has a direct impact on your body, on how it feels, on fitness or lack of health. So one thing is to notice and gauge your emotional landscape. Start paying attention to it. Maybe maintain a journal, you know, like a emotion journal, like I'm feeling this, and दिन में जब कुछ महसूस हो रहा है उसको लिखो और किस चीज़ से महसूस हुआ. वहाँ पर आपको एक पैटर्न दिखाई देगा कि जब ये हुआ है ना रिपीटेडली, एक ही तरीके की बात थी, तब मुझे बुरा महसूस हुआ. पर जब ये हुआ, then I felt very good. That will be the first part. Then that will help you to bring more of that other thing into your life. You resource yourself then. Say for example, you felt very good every time you spend time with your siblings. Then start to take out conscious time for that. And start to expand that experience by making, you know, prioritizing it. Okay, let's go for this thing together, or let's do that thing together. Let's have a coffee together. You know, if that is the case, for example, you start expanding that. I'm looking at your emotions are the most important aspect of it. And then when it comes to the body, the only way that we will also become more come closer to the body is by first stopping to reject the body's experiences. Rejecting sexuality, rejecting, you know, this is not okay, I can't do this, I can't go to that class, मुझे डांस नहीं करना आता, मुझे ये नहीं आता, I don't like the gym. Stop rejecting the body. Instead, find some kind of a practice or a practice or a tool which can help you build a relationship with the body every day. Whether that's yoga or it's a gym or it's a dance class. And because embodiment also comes by learning to put our body in many different types of situations. एक टाइप की चीज पर जब अटक जाते हैं ना और उसकी
बॉडी भी तो स्टैग्नेंट हो जाती है, फिर वहीं तक कन्फाइन हो जाती है.
We get stuck in our perspective, and the body also needs perspective. कभी डांस क्लास चले जाओ, कभी योगा चले जाओ, कभी स्विमिंग चले जाओ, कभी स्पोर्ट खेलने चले जाओ,
क्लाइंबिंग,
कभी वॉक पे चले जाओ
नॉर्मली.
एंड द थर्ड आई थिंक विच इज द की थिंग इज दिन में 5 मिनट का तो ध्यान लगाओ ही लगाओ. 5 मिनट, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. 5 मिनट. अगर आपसे बैठा नहीं जाता है, सिर्फ 5 मिनट कुछ नहीं करना है. विचार आएंगे, विचार जाएंगे, ये होगा ही होगा, बट आप बिना स्क्रैच करे, बिना एडजस्ट करे, बिना छींक मारे 5 मिनट बस बिना हिले बैठो. दैट्स इट. और कुछ मत करो.
That's going to bring a lot of stability.
स्थिरता वहाँ से शुरू होती है. तो कुछ मत करो. Just don't do anything. Just keep. I know you'll say what to meditate on, how to meditate. ये बात की बात है. पहले सिर्फ 5 मिनट टाइमर लगाओ कि कुछ भी ना हिलाओ और बस बैठो. Just sit. Don't move your body. Don't itch yourself. Don't cough. Don't adjust. Don't.
And a lot of people say that there's a lot of thoughts that come.
That's what I said. ये भी तो movement ही है ना.
हाँ.
ये भी movement ही है.
तो उनको जाने दो.
मूवमेंट आने दो और जाने दो. तुम बस रिएक्ट मत करो. आने दो और जाने दो ना. कुछ चल रहा है, उसको आने दो और जब माइंड को भी रियलाइज होएगा कि ये इंसान शांति में बैठना समझ रहा है, माइंड भी धीरे होने लग जाएगा खुद ब खुद. सो सिट क्वाइटली. फर्स्ट डू इट फॉर 5 minutes. स्लोली बिल्ड इट अप टू 10, 20, 25, 30 minutes. 30 minutes of absolute stillness.
Wow.
Just it's nothing
hard,
else. It is hard.
Yes. But we can start with 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Start
saying.
with
5 minutes. Most people can't sit quietly. They don't know how to. जब माइंड और शरीर एक दूसरे से अलग नहीं है, इट इज़ अ कॉन्टिन्यूम. शरीर को कुछ होता है तो माइंड कुछ एक्सपीरियंस करता है, माइंड में कुछ चलता है तो उसमें उससे भी शरीर पे कुछ इम्पैक्ट आता है. दे आर वर्किंग इन कंटिन्यूटी.
3 of them, mind, body and soul. 3 of them.
Even your spirit, right?
Even your
right,
spirit,
but
yeah.
spirit sometimes is a little bit less accessible.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not talking about it. Mind and body, you know you're thinking, you know you're feeling something, you know you're touching something. If one of them also, this is why in yoga is not asana, but asana is yoga. Yoga has different limbs, but asana is important because it is one part of starting to come to that containment.
Okay. Lovely.
इसी तरीके से जब आप शांत बैठना शरीर में करोगे तो कहीं ना कहीं कुछ भीतर भी बदलेगा.
True.
तो ये नहीं सोचना कैसे मेडिटेट करना है, किस चीज़ पे करना है, दिमाग में कुछ चल रहा है तो क्या करूं. कुछ चल रहा है तो होने दो,
बस बैठो.
बस बैठो और कुछ नहीं करना है, बस 5 मिनट बैठो बस.
Wow, love it. One last question. What is your take upon waking up and choosing kindness? Like when we have a problem and these are some energies and we might have problems which could be associated to our parents or anything. किसी ने हमारे ऊपर वो emotion project कर दिया, हमारे अंदर आ गया. How to not transfer that emotion? Because we as adults do it on children as well. ठीक है? How to not transfer that emotion पर वो हमारे अंदर भी दबे ना. Like do you get it what I'm trying to say? कि वो emotion suppress भी नहीं हो रहा, but we know how to. I think that would come from स्थिरता only that we were talking about. But what is your take on that?
So a very interesting question, because my waking up and choosing kindness, I think before you wake up and choose kindness, you have to wake up and choose awareness. कहाँ हूँ मैं, किस जगह पर हूँ, looking at my space, कौन बैठा है, क्या कर रहे हैं सब, मैं कैसा महसूस कर रही हूँ, मैं क्या, मेरे क्या विचार चल रहे हैं. ऑब्जर्विंग. काइंडनेस पैदा होती है ऑब्जर्वेशन से. क्योंकि जो अपने दिमाग में रश में चल रहा है, क्या वो काइंड हो सकता है?
नहीं, क्योंकि वो तो प्रोजेक्ट हुआ है ना, कोई किसी का नेगेटिव इमोशन प्रोजेक्ट हुआ है, तब उस इमोशन को व्हाट डू वी डू विद दैट?
बिल्कुल. आई मीन ये दूसरी जगह से आना भी तो अलग बात है. अगर आपके ऑलरेडी दिमाग में 10 चीजें चल रही हैं, क्या आप काइंड हो सकते हो?
नहीं, यही
नहीं. तो ये कोई और आपको दे रहा है तक तो दूर की बात है. आपके खुद के अंदर अगर बहुत सारा इफ योर माइंड इज लाइक chaotic, right? If there's lots going on in your mind, then you can't choose kindness. Kindness requires you to be aware, to observe. And observation is taking time, slowing things down. आपने मुझे कुछ किया, ठीक है, आपने कुछ किया, अब मैं यहाँ immediately retaliate कर सकती हूँ या मैं बोल सकती हूँ. और मेरे साथ ये बहुत होता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल सोशल मीडिया पे कोई कह देता है यू नो समथिंग वेरी मीन, गाली दे दी या कुछ बुरा कह दिया बहुत. there's a part of me that goes like 2 सेकेंड लगेंगे वापस गाली देने में.
हाँ,
बट वो 2 सेकेंड को मैं 20 सेकेंड करती हूँ, फिर मैं उसको 1 मिनट करती हूँ, फिर मेरे अंदर से जो रिएक्शन निकलता है वो निकलता है, आई एम सॉरी यू फील दिस वे, आई एम सॉरी,
बिकॉज यू डोंट वांट टू स्टूप डाउन टू देयर फ्रीक्वेंसी.
मेरे एक्स हस्बैंड ने मुझे बहुत एक अच्छी बात बताई थी, कभी नहीं बोलूँगी मैं. Arguing with a fool only proves that there are two.
Wow. I love it.
Best. So point is that there is no point. If someone seems like they are in the position to understand what you're saying, try. पर अगर 2 सेंटेंस के बाद रियलाइज हुआ कि वो नहीं समझ पा रहे, छोड़ दो. क्या हो गया? I don't want to prove anything to anybody. What is there to prove? That I am right and you're wrong? No. Are you content where you are? Stick with it. I will stand by my truth. And however my truth has to impact, whatever it has to impact, it will impact.
Wow. Lovely. It was so lovely to have you on the episode. And the conversations we had were full of wisdom, enlightenment, and lots of mental orgasm awakening topics we touched. And I loved every bit of it. Thank you so much for your precious time and energy that you gave us. We are so grateful for your presence over here. Thank you so much for enlightening our presence.